Somebody's got to do it. We have to do is look at the hearings, and we'll see that.
Yeah.
But more on the hearings later too. I think I've got these. I'm gonna while you do the setup there.
Okay.
Just talk about the emotion. I'm gonna talk about emotion. I mean, I'm gonna.
Well, Carl Thomas, come on. He does a show right here on KCOH 1230 on Wednesdays called The Truth Serum, flirting after work in true R&B singer form. He, and his mantra is get you from point A to point B. Basically, you go to work and you have a long day, or you have whatever type of day you have, good day, and once something to get you from work back home. And then when you get home, and it isn't just music. We actually talk about a variety of things. Headlines, a lot of politics. Actually, we have a feature called Impeachment Ball, where we talk about the impeachment. Impeachment Ball has become a moving segment that is ever so changing, and so every week we do the impeachment ball, and it's a good show. I would encourage anybody, if you get a chance. Wednesdays at 7 o'clock.
Wednesdays at 7.
Give it a try.
All right. Listen, and having said that, I met Carl. Carl has his own son.
Yes.
I was talking about his son. He tells me he's doing. His son is doing fine. His son is a young man too.
Yes, David. Yes, David is a young man, and I come to.
It's 18, 19.
I think David is 19.
Okay,
18, 19, and
fly.
I come to find out he plays the instruments you can imagine.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's a very, very talented producer. Very talented producer.
When he's here, in addition to the fan base, I mean, we do know this. We do know that five people in chopped liver looking at you,
watching you.
And he has, and this is the number of people who have viewed just
that video in particular.
Yeah. So to all my music lovers out there, do something for you this morning. This hour brought to you by Bayway. But we want to do this for you. So we're talking about the music, and talking about music is like you don't really get it. You got an original line on my part. I got to tell you, I lifted that from somebody. I think it was. Well, I know that.
Well, it was original to me. Heard it. That was the first time I heard
it. We were at a meeting, and to be honest, I think it was either David Bowie or Sting.
David Bowie or Sting?
And I was working at A&M at the time, and he was addressing the employees. He was he was on the label, so we were and it was an aside. Interesting place over there, A&M. It's the old Charlie Chaplin lot.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really? Yeah. That's where Charlie Chaplin did his thing.
The original lot. They bought the lot. Herb Alpert and Jerry Moss. Yeah. And A&M Records. That's where the A&M comes from.
Wow.
Yeah. And so he was speaking to him. And shame on me for not knowing. I think it was
David Bowie.
I think it was Bowie. But now that I'm thinking, it could have been
Sting.
That was back during my crazy days. And it was like in the morning, and we had a couple of other acts on the label. And we wound up listening to them opening up. So I really was like kind of sleeping in the chair. It could have been Bryan Adams. That's the other name I was saying.
Or Bryan Adams.
Yeah.
Well, those are notable people to lift quotes from.
Yeah. And so
you got somebody sitting here?
No, and so see, that keeps me on what you just said. Just those are notable people to lift quotes from. And if you're going to lift quotes from people, you better go ahead and give them credit.
Give them their acknowledgement.
Yeah, give them their acknowledgement. So if it comes up again. Yeah, no, I didn't say I said.
I got it from somebody.
Yeah, I was passing it on. All right, but here's the good music. We've been talking about Carl Thomas, and I see our brothers Over DK and Maurice have arrived this morning. we welcome them. Always good to have these guys in here on Friday. But let's show you what we're talking about with Carl Thomas. So let's get to the music. Music for PK and music for Sarah Moses, and the rest of you out there who like some music in your morning as well.
Oh, okay. How's it going?
Everybody got phones?
Yeah.
Plug in somewhere over there.
I know November's over. Mr. Kraft. It don't fit in one. Just switch it for one of these. I think this one is mine. This is the one you're using. So just take it out. What's up, Doc?
All right, man. How you doing,
Good, man. How you doing? What's up, Maurice? How you feeling, man? Man, I need a new stand. I said I need a new stand. I've been using the stand to hold my phone, and it be falling over. What's up, Dewana? Good morning. He said he was going to play some Carl because Carl would do the show on Wednesdays, the Truth Serum. And so he said, I was surprised they were playing some music in the morning.
Oh, somebody else just singing?
Oh, no. It's Carl, the guy singing. He does a show here on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Of the Truth Serum.
Okay.
And so Paris is playing a little music.
I had no choice.
I think we're going to get into the impeachment today. What do you guys think about what's going on with the impeachment? Where were you
We're gonna get
on
into
the
that.
impeachment?
We're gonna get into
They just
that.
passed to the floor of the house.
Oh, yeah. It's going to go to the House. What the House going to do?
Impeach.
You think the House going to impeach him?
Absolutely. Over DK, I want my money. Hold on, man. Hold on. He said, who is this? He said, hold on, he's here. Hold on.
If we can be friends. If I could sing, I would sing
I got it.
like this.
I'll let Paris and Phil do it.
You got it with you?
All right, take care. Peace. She asked if you would play I Want My Money.
Good morning.
Listen on wisdom.
I want my money.
I got the CD.
You got the CD? Okay, let me see.
Good morning. This is the morning magazine.
KCOH.
We're about to get into it.
Yeah.
What's up, Ronald? Not too much.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the radio.
That's the cut. Yeah. Morning, Didi. Where you doing? What are you doing? On your way to work?
Yeah, Paris.
Yes, sir.
She said she got about 60 elders listening and hearing.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's what she said.
Okay.
We got DJ Paris in the house. DJ Paris.
That's my man Carl Thomas.
DJ PE.
Oh, yeah, don't get it twisted.
Paris.
Yeah.
I started writing the Willie Lynch piece.
You did?
I think I would have been finished, but I lost my files. I had to take my computer.
Okay.
It was just, the whole program. The guy was saying, well, you can't just lose this program. You have to do this. He showed me by some man. I didn't know how to do that then, and even after having watched you.
Yeah.
And then this computer did.
Yeah. Grand Rising, Deborah.
So, I was just blessed. The majority of that stuff.
Ronald is 45 is the devil, and he shouldn't be in charge of nothing.
let me have set of those phones, please. I forgot to got everybody's phones with me. All right, 12:30, KCOH. Love my guys over here. Love having them with me. Love them so much. I gave everybody earphones except me. Now this Carl Thomas, man, emotional. That's a jam. Yeah, of course. It may maybe years old by now. By the time I'm catching up with it, I like that. I like that. I like it. You know what I mean? That's good. That's good. And somebody was telling me about another jam he has. Really.
Summer Rain.
Summer Rain. Summer Rain.
He has a few. He's had albums after that too.
I'm feeling it.
And
what label? What label?
He was on Bad Boy.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We're talking about that's Puffy's.
Bad Boy
that's
with Puffy.
Yeah, that's Diddy's thing. Yeah.
You remember Diddy had that sound?
Yeah. My boy used to be part of the hit team over there. Young Lord, Richard Frierson.
Okay.
He used to produce beats for Diddy.
Oh, really?
They on the original stuff. Back when they were doing some what's one Big Pun and they were doing studio work for Big Pun. They were doing studio work for Big Pun.
Really?
Big Pun and Fat Joe. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Young Lord did those beats. He laid down some of those beats.
Wow. See, that's a little bit of knowledge I didn't know.
Yeah. 25 minutes before that. So we like music. We are intergenerational. Yes, indeed. As a matter of fact, I'm talking about music and albums. We got here. I just had a call. We've got a diverse audience, so know that when you come to listen on Friday morning, know this. Know that we cover a gamut, right?
Right.
And that we are open. Who come here to listen just have to be open to the experience of things that are different, and we design them. So our intention is to be in people share experiences, to open up the world a bit.
We have somebody watching live from Pakistan. We want to say hi out there in Pakistan and thank you for watching. We
this ain't Pakistan, Texas.
Not Pakistan, Texas.
Yeah, because there is a Palestine, Texas.
But
there's a and I haven't heard
Rome
of Pakistan.
and Italy.
No,
I don't know that there's a Pakistan.
Yeah, I don't know
Texas.
Literal
Pakistan. Would be. But welcome to some Pakistan.
Yeah.
All right, 12. Things must be slow in Pakistan today.
Well, no, we got to
tuning in to the morning magazine.
Right. This is the morning magazine.
All right,
I would tune in too.
No doubt. And you know what? You'd be good. You'd be a hit Pakistani. Yeah. 24 minutes before the hour of 10 o'clock. We thank all of you who joined us this morning. Now, let's see. We want to do this because we are going to get to the impeachment hearings. This is an historical vote. You keep hearing that, and it is true. And we'll dip in on that. Let me get some housekeeping business out of the way. We've got some elders over there waiting to hear from Obadike. Obadike has a song that he recorded some time ago on his album Baba Doc, and we're going to play that, and then we're going to come back and take care of some housekeeping stuff, and then we're going to move into
this impeachment
conversation. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Got to do that. 12:30 KCOH. I'm Paris. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're nearing the end of a long and noisy campaign, but the noise from my opponents is no match for the chorus of Houstonians coming together.
Which one is it? Number one?
Final vote.
10, I believe.
I read that Turner has a big lead in early voting.
Yeah. I would take nothing for granted, though.
Well, you really
I
can't.
don't either.
You really can't.
I don't
really
either.
All right, we're back. Be sure you get out and vote. Please be sure you do that. Also, I want to tell you about the blood drive that's going on at Sunnyside Dental, Saturday, December 14th, 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. That's at 4040 Airport Boulevard, Saturday. And look for the bright donor coach. And it has all of the paraphernalia inside so that you can give the gift of life. Please be sure to come out. Bring your ID with you. Bring your ID with you. This is sponsored by the Gulf Coast Regional Blood Center. There are lots of ways to help during Christmas season, and there are a lot of precious gifts. I doubt that few will be more important than blood. So please come out and make that donation. I'll tell you another event that's taking place on Sunday, December 22nd, there's going to be a toy giveaway. And I want to emphasize this: at 11 a.m. after church services at 11 a.m. After, don't get up with your pajamas and run out. Don't get up in your pajamas at 6 o'clock and run out to church thinking you're going to pick up a good toy for yourself and head on back home. It's not working like that. You come out to He Heard My Cry Christian Fellowship Church, 1333 Judaway Street. And it's He Heard My Cry. The pastor there is Claude Cummings III, son of Claude Cummings Jr., a member of the group Endurance COH Radio. Now, here's the number, 281-216-3528 to receive a toy. You want to get a toy for somebody or put someone's name on the list, you call 281-216-3528. It's 20 minutes before the hour of 10 o'clock. If you're left-handed, it's 9:40. So you can keep up with there, so we can keep up with it. Fellas, let's go to Overdrive, and we've got people waiting to hear this song. So let's say good morning to them and get this music on, and then we're coming back for our conversation.
Yeah.
The reparations rap. I want my money.
Did somebody mention reparations? Well, if so, then check this information. They represented forces in the cash-free labor, timing with the slaves, and they wasn't slaves, they stole us from our beautiful land, and they reduced us to less than a man. They refused to let us take a stand, and they made us wear animal brands. They stole my children, stole my wife, thoroughly mucked up my life, stole my religion, stole my name. That's world history. Biggest con game, what do we get now? More of the same, and they want me to take all the blame. They talk crazy like Tyrone.
This the reparations rap.
I'm tired of living as a slave. Now it's time for me to
Get paid. Buddy.
They got my brother outside hanging from
a
the tree.
Wow.
It's taken 400 years and still we have made it with dehumanization and middle slavery, biological genocide corrupting me, all this because they raped my black women. These are some facts that I am just sending. This is the message I have to relay. Now is the time for me to get paid.
Hey. The reparations rap. Look, that's Doc. That's Doc. He is responsible for this here jam.
Stolen our legacy, stolen our knowledge, and all our rights as humans he abolished. He's taken us people, completely degraded us, conceiving in labs he then recreated us, wanting to erase our cultural memory, trying to make us forget all of our history, but I'm a time bomb and a loaded grenade, and I'll chase him and dog him until I get paid.
Okay.
I want my money.
You got 57 seconds. I better get over here now. The day is gone, baby.
Yeah.
The day is of 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Make a mad dash right now.
Yeah, buddy.
I like that, Doc.
You like that?
Yeah.
All right.
The reparations song. People are listening from everywhere. You'd be surprised. Yeah, I definitely didn't realize. That's a good thing. That's great. We appreciate it.
Well, Yeah, well, okay.
Give me my money.
Okay. Oh, but he came with his demand in the morning. Okay,
Give me my money.
We had right off the rip this morning. I sit down and I'm here with talking with Fred Hoyer, and then I introduced these guys, and the phone lights up, and I said, "Well, who was this calling in early?" You know, generally I like to establish the tenor, and then go from there. And voice of a beautiful sister on the phone, and she's just said, "Look, I want to hear reparations rap." I thought it was something I missed.
The reparations rap.
Right? Okay. So I want to hear the song about OGK.
That needs to be heard globally.
Yeah. And
you gotta turn that up.
She said she had.
I'm playing that tonight.
She said she had some elders in there.
Yeah, she said it was about 60 elders.
Get on mic.
Yeah. She said she wanted to hear it for her and about 60 elders she had listening to hear it.
Good morning, sisters. Good morning. Good morning, sisters and brothers. Yes. Yeah, that's good.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Thank heaven for the awareness. All right, so good. So we're gonna come back to that, and we're gonna play that. We'll be coming that. When I say coming back to that, I mean throughout the series here. We're gonna occasionally have that. we are gonna go to that as we
the impeachment rap.
The impeachment.
No. See, I'm thinking about impeachment ball. The reparations rap.
You got the impeachment ball, and Obadiah's got
the reparations rap.
Okay, we got something going on. Okay, Maurice, you're gonna have to come up with it, brother.
Look, we're gonna dance to the reparations rap at the impeachment ball.
Yeah. But listen now, we do. There is the House Judiciary did approve the articles of impeachment against Trump. Vote is expected in the full House next week, probably just before
Christmas.
Before they break next week.
They're giving them 2 days, I guess, for some potential adjustments. And man, bureaucracy is something you never move. It's kind of amazing that they're moving the
bureaucracy this time.
They're moving it now.
Well, the bureaucracy is up against an election coming up soon. Yeah. And so I'm sure they want to have this done before the election gets into the full swing of things. And so, bureaucracy, it could go downhill when it wants to.
Mm-hmm. And it's going down.
It's going downhill right now.
Snowball rolling down the side of a snow-covered hill.
Definitely. Look, Doc, this is what I was telling Paris earlier. For sports fans and people who like sports, and even if you like drama TV or whatever it is, this is we're missing it. And if you're not paying attention, and this is the sports comparison, you have two sides. One side trying to prove something, and another side trying to prove the other side is lying. They're triangulating. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do, what they're going to say. There isn't one step or one move that isn't directly calculated on how to beat the other side. It's just like a game.
When we were coming in this morning, I told Maurice, I know what happens in Hollywood, but these dudes in Washington, D.C. are hyping the drama to the max. Last night when they said, wait a minute, go home and think about it.
Yeah.
Man, was that a move? That
was a move. And look, and even the media coverage of it, what I notice is it's like a boxing fight. Yeah. And so, they play the music to hype it up, coming up in the impeachment. Right. The way their voice inflection, the camera angles, everything. And they have commentators sitting around, and it's like they're commentating on a prize fight.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's exactly what it's like. And it's kind of funny to watch it, and I don't think it connects with everyone, but if people watched it from that aspect, I think it would connect with more people.
And the thing about it is I was, we speaking about drama, we speaking about good directing, and I know
good directing.
I don't know that anybody would have ever seen Jerry Adler as dramatic,
right?
Because we know it ain't no suspense in the act.
Right.
We knew what was going to happen in the vote.
Right.
We know what's going to happen in the house.
Right.
But they bring the drama.
They bring the drama.
And last night, I just said, man, that is brilliant. But home said, no, go home. Search your conscience. Think about this.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Look, you know what?
Give it up. Give it up.
For both sides, and that's what I think people have to realize too, is the backdrop of the election coming up.
Mm-hmm.
It's in what, a year?
It's in a year.
Little less than a year.
Iowa is in February.
Iowa is in. They are already in February on the No Malarkey tour upon the Joe Biden bus.
Yeah.
And so I don't think people realizes how this plays into the theatrics.
Oh yeah.
It's no different than any other political season where they're putting out ads and everybody's showing their soft, sensitive side or their tough on crime side or whatever side they want to put on for the election is hyperbolic now. It's happening in overdrive during this proceeding. And that's why the bureaucracy is going a million miles a second.
Yeah.
And the Republicans are trying to slow it down.
Yeah.
They want to slow it down.
But they into the drama too.
Oh, absolutely.
The drama was holistic. This wasn't just Democratic drama.
No, it's holistic. It is holistic. Look, they get up there and they're trying to turn the tide. Mm-hmm. And the Republicans aren't talking about they're talking about what actually happened, not what he was trying to do. Mm-hmm. And so, keeping the waters muddy. Yeah. You have to keep the water muddy if you don't want people to know how to swim or where to, how to navigate under that water.
Analogy. That's a great
You have to keep it muddy.
The water muddy even if you can swim, you don't know
you
where
can't
the hell
see.
you're going.
You can't see. Yeah. And so they want you to kind of like tune out to that. Mm-hmm. Doc, I watched the Trump rally the other day. And people say, why do you watch it? I watch them because I get great information from them, mm-hmm. And well, do you support it? You don't have to watch a rally. No. And my thing is
it's just you can deal with something, or you cannot. Whether you support it or not, if you're doing research, if you're in the news, if you're in radio, if you're doing podcasts, you need this, and you don't need to just present one side, because people are more intelligent often than we give them credit for, and they also are sometimes more stupid than we give credit for.
Well, I think, and like you say, when you speak of research, if you only research things that you're comfortable with or that you agree with, can we really call it research?
No.
You might be studying.
Yes. I'm glad you said that, because that was one of the things that's one of the joys in having you here, one of the benefits.
He said stuff like that.
Well, yes. and come to think of it, by golly, so do you guys. But I was talking with a friend of mine yesterday at lunch, and I was saying, we got to stop calling things research. Mm-hmm. Research implies that not only have you did several times, you have from various. Yes. So to research, the term "re" ought to be a hint. It tells you again. All right, and if it's something that you are just agreeing with, and you read more of that, then you need to break out of that cocoon. And so many of us are guilty of it. I know I am, and that's why I force myself to read. I know the studies have shown that when the brain will just skip over certain
information,
certain things, like articles. And when I say articles, I mean A, B.
Your brain searches for the easiest path to get somewhere.
And so when you read an editorial, there are certain parts of it. If it doesn't comport with what you have been prone to think, you just gotta
kind of tune it out.
Part. That's why as I'm older I find myself having to reread things, certain passages I have to do over again to lock in.
Well, I think that's a good thing too. I read things a few times, especially, and sometimes I have to write things to remember them. Maybe that's strange. But I was saying, I was watching the Trump rally, and I watched because I've been waiting for his defense. what is he going to say? And again, with the sports analogy, now the ball is in his court while the lights is on him and while the camera is on him. It's like he's out there playing under the lights. What is he going to say? What play is he going to call? And the play he's calling is they're lying. It's a witch hunt. And what he's doing is he's saying, well, the Democrats are over exaggerating. So that's basically what he's saying. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not. This is not a direct verbatim quote, but that's the way he's painting it. He's saying, "Where's the second whistleblower that you promised? You promised that this was going to happen. You promised you had that." And so he's trying to minimalize what they do have by what they promised,
without defending himself.
And so, and I'll be honest, when people say, he isn't that smart, he's very tactful in what he's doing.
No, I can't say that he's not smart.
I think he's street smart.
He's adept. I think he's adept. He knows. He has. If you've got a good feel for human nature,
there you go. That's perfect.
And if you are unencumbered by a certain moral code, you can make that work for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
And he knows
people do that.
The people who support him, rightly or wrongly, are going to take his word for it. It's like when we were younger and we would be arguing with our Christian, in church.
Yes, sure.
And it's just like you're only listening to one. You're only listening to one thing. You are taking somebody's word for something.
Yeah.
Now you might do some research on your own and still reach that conclusion.
Yes, right.
But as long as you just, you're putting a lot of trust in somebody who just jumps up and says something. The do nothing Democrat, where they have what? 200 bills and can't be brought to the floor of the Senate.
They're being held up.
We don't have any fact witnesses when you won't let them testify.
You won't let them testify.
I heard in their own space, judging by a certain standard, I heard good arguments yesterday.
In their own space.
In their own space. They were listening because each one was fulfilling its agenda. The Republicans were saying, this is flawed. How dare you do this? And so they kept attention on that because they wanted it, and they knew there was a camera there, and they knew that people didn't want to hear the same thing over and over again. But that's just why they did it, because they didn't care about those people. They weren't selling tickets to the thing. They were trying to build a cadre of people who would repeat whenever those
they were
people
creating
tuned
a
in,
talking point.
They were creating a
game plan.
The game plan. And that's all they're doing is creating a game plan.
Yeah, and it's not their job to be concerned. I mean, when I say their job, in the broad patriotic sense, we have to know when we're moving from emotionalism to planning to an operation. In the broad sense, I would hope in the true sense, your job is to do the best for the country. That's what you swore to do. All right. However, when you're in the party's mission is to win. It's not their job. Their mission is to win. And I was listening at the arguments that buttressed one. They had points that they kept coming back to. And the truth,
a nice way to say it.
When people convince themselves that what they heard is just as true as what you heard, then anything goes. Like if you're an honest merchant, there's certain things you're not going to say about your merchandise because you know it can't live up to it. But on the other hand, if you're in a different
if you're just trying to sell
in a different state and you're trying to sell and you're trying to come as close to the line as you can up against the law, then you're going out of business every week. Because you know human nature is for people to want stuff that they get at a bargain.
Yeah.
So you say, grab this, we're going out of business, going out of
10 years. You've been going out of
10
business.
years, you've been going out of business.
That's
right?
the same sign. The sign that going out of business sign is faded.
Yeah.
You've been going out of business for 10 years.
Yeah. So I look at things in that light, and that creates less stress for me because everybody's not operating on the same thing.
Yes,
Same thing.
and they're taking advantage of that as well. Even that's a part of opposition research, is figuring out what your opponent's constituency is not paying attention to.
Right.
And so they'll look and see where the ratings are high during through the testimonies, and what people are watching and what's trending.
Yeah.
And if it's not, they know that people don't know, and so I noticed they'll hit on that.
That's right.
And so
they'll come back to something that has been. They will continue with the theme, even if someone else has tried to debunk it.
Yeah.
Right. With facts and information.
Yeah.
They're gonna go through with it.
Yeah. I was texting you the other day, Paris. I was saying I think that the Republicans' case that they're trying to make is on process.
Yes.
It's not on whether he came close to the line, or if there was any quid pro quo.
Yeah.
The like you said earlier, bureaucracy normally moves slow, and since Republicans are giving a process argument, you guys are rushing. You're not letting us bring our you're not letting us bring our witnesses, so they're making it look like.
And every time they say you're not letting us bring their witnesses, then it's on you to know. You got to be smart enough to know that they kept witnesses from testifying. That's why. But you have to read for yourself.
You have
to know
read
that.
for yourself.
I mean, you have to listen for yourself and know that. Let me do this. KCOH Houston, 12:30. All right, you're listening to the Morning Magazine. It's Friday. I gotta get that in. That keeps Jay happy. That keeps Don happy. That keeps Michael, Ralph, and Amber happy.
Everybody
good now. Okay.
And
certainly all the sponsors and the FCC.
And the FCC.
All right.
And we need to keep all of that. One of the things when I was looking at it, and they lost me, man, I just quit looking at it.
Sure.
It was just like, y'all ever gonna stop?
Yeah.
But Mr. So-and-so, Miss So-and-so, that you go to the Republican speaks. You go back to the Democrats, speak. And I know, and this whole thing is a ball of confusion. As a
is there something wrong with me because I love that?
You know what?
I find it fascinating.
Yeah. One team have the ball, the next team gets the ball.
And but it would really be interesting, and of course, if this would make it more chaotic than it is, if the Republican speaks and makes, in this case, process argument. The Democrat speaks and lays out the facts.
Right.
But they can't interact with each other directly in this arena.
That's what. Yeah, you don't speak directly, and that keeps it from getting out of hand.
But they do.
Yeah, but the my good friend from so and so said so.
I want to reply to my good friend from California, my colleague.
But you have to ask, will you yield?
Will you yield?
You got to yield.
I yield back a minute. I yield back.
I yield my 2 minutes to you. It's like it's not set up for efficiency,
right?
To have them interact with each other. The lack of the interaction. The lack of you being able to question, well, you said this, and to go the back and forth, it loses the power of the arguments
without trading ideas.
They lose some arguments, and it leaves people in a position where if you came into this with a side, you can stay on your side.
Yes,
right.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
And that's why we just see party line votes.
Yeah.
We see party line votes and we hear party line arguments. And even when they want to respond, this is one of the things that impressed me and it makes me wonder. Let's say, because I heard somebody say yesterday, I've been waiting all day to ask this question.
Yeah.
Now, let's say you've been waiting all day to ask a question and you have a prepared question, but are you going to be propelled or compelled to change your question based on the things that you've heard throughout the
or
day.
are you asking the question anyway?
Because it could be out of context at that point.
Yeah.
And I noticed that you could tell some people will prepare a question and they're saying, I'm asking this question. I don't care when I get a chance. And when they ask the question, they'll answer 10 times.
2 hours
Yeah.
or 2 hours.
It wasn't their turn.
But also, there's this stuff. I heard Escobar, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
I think she did something sharp. And if it weren't Escobar, because I was in the car there listening to her.
I think it was Escobar.
But her statement was, I thought it was smart. It was, I want the public to know that we are doing other work.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was good.
Yeah.
Okay, because you can get so much in the thickets on that.
Mm.
She took advantage to carve out a space
For
herself. I'll tell you what, it was one of the few statements that was heard.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because she said, we got NAFTA done. We got, NAFTA, we did USMCA.
The online
she
trafficking.
pointed out 2 things.
Right. Yeah.
She pointed out just 2 things.
Yeah.
And said, I want the people to know that our work, that the people's work goes on.
Well, see,
yes,
Paris, even that was very strategic because right there and then that's combating what the Republicans are saying when they're saying you're so worried about the impeachment that the Democrats won't do anything else.
That's right.
And one of the sharpest things I've seen happen is Pelosi passing that Mexico-Canadian trade.
Yeah.
Right after.
Yeah.
She sent it to the judiciary.
Yeah.
And Trump, that bothered him.
Of course it did.
They think they slick. What he said. They think they ain't gonna pass this like they not impeaching.
Well, and then he crossed the first step with China on the agreement yesterday.
Yeah.
And so they're trading blows.
Tension does it. Look, there are certain adversarial tensions that are productive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, certain tensions are meant to be there.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
I often go when I'm speaking with younger people and they're having tough times and struggles, and sometimes my own, my own children. Certain things where they are not as they seem, and I love the story of the butterfly, of the chrysalis. With the worm going into the chrysalis and then struggling to get out, and the apocryphal story about the boy who slits the chrysalis
he helps it to free it,
but it doesn't because
the wings aren't strong.
The wings aren't strong. So some tensions are meant to exist in life, and the adversary. That's why we have an adversarial system.
And one side's supposed to push the other side to do more. But the problem ends up being sometimes when it becomes a complete competition is one side. Well, both sides only care about winning.
Well, what do you think about McConnell's? I mean, and we're going to do this, and let's. I tell you what, I don't want to keep the caller waiting. Let me go to Bill and remind me about McConnell and his statement about the Senate being in sync on this, and the Senate all being of the same mind, and with the White House lawyers. Bo, good morning. How are you, my friend? That's my brother Obadike.
How you doing, brother?
Yeah. We call him Obadoc. We call him Obadoc. Yeah. Yeah. Well, he brought some. Let me tell you something. This brother man and I just have such a great relationship. I'll run by the audience sometimes, but just know this. He has a master's in library science, was the director of the library at Texas Southern University, and his doctorate is in African American studies. So we think highly of him. And he's very active in the community. And then he had a show called The Information Activist.
The Information
Podcast. Had a podcast.
He's a good rapper too.
Yeah, he's going to have to look that podcast up. Yeah. Okay, go. Yeah. I'm sorry, but go ahead, brother.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. That's right. yeah.
We gotta pretend.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Check to see if Tyrone is turning her
Hey, Tyrone, I will have to ask him. Bo was saying, did you turn that Hertz rental car in that you wrecked?
The Hertz rental car that I wrecked.
That was Matt Gates.
What'd you say? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
That was a reference to Matt Gates yesterday. Yeah. Matt Gates, did you hear that?
No.
Okay, so Matt Gates was throwing shade at Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
Because Hunter Biden had an addiction problem.
Yeah.
And Matt Gates
had an addiction.
But he chose.
Had, I think. Supposedly had.
You see the New York Post last week?
No, I didn't see it.
Have.
Okay. I gotta check that post out. But bring us up on what the New York Post said.
The New York Post, there was a picture of him, and he was in a gentleman's club, and he was openly doing drugs. And so that was in the New York Post.
This is recent.
Last
While
week.
he was in Congress.
This is last week.
It doesn't surprise me.
No, I'm just
you know. You know. Randy Johnson from Louisiana. Was it Hunter? Or was it from Georgia? Is he from Georgia?
I think he's from Louisiana.
Okay. Well, what
I think.
Yeah, but yeah, he turned that. He said, if I knew of someone who he was very specific. If I knew of a member on this committee who had a DUI, I wouldn't bring it up. I wouldn't bring it in, right?
Yeah, because he had a DUI.
The whole cocaine thing, and
he talks like somebody that sold cocaine.
Yeah, well, for Matt Gates, he did hit him, low.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Matt Gates is the guy with the problem. It shows his lack of humanity. First of all, see, character comes out during these things. So the argument is about process in one moment. And it seems, this is why I love these things, because you got to think on different levels. You got to know when somebody's reaching for an emotional argument. Like that was pure shade. Hunter Biden's drug problem had nothing to do with what was going on. But he was trying to tie it in to say that I doubt that Burisma would pay him $86,000 a month because they needed somebody.
Well, that's what they're trying to say.
So that was an effort to bring Joe Biden in a roundabout way into all of that. So he was shady. But here's a guy with a drug, with a current drug
needs
problem.
To go to rehab
if the New
right
York
now.
Post is correct.
Should have been in rehab rather than at the committee.
Now here, go ahead, Bo. And having been a drug guy, having been in that, and having gotten treatment and having gone through that, I'm sitting there looking at this guy like he's a privileged. I mean, there's a racial component that comes to that, because he looks like every white kid I knew who drove across from Washington, into Washington Heights in New York, who drove in from New Jersey in their Beamer, picked up drugs and went into and often went back until the parents started complaining. And you know what the police did? They didn't arrest those white kids. They took their cars, they confiscated the cars so that the parents would have to come get them. And they were saying, your kid's got a drug problem. Those kids got consideration that black kids and Dominican kids and other people Puerto Rican kids weren't getting. And that was right across George Washington Bridge. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So those are the considerations that pat a lot of people's falls and gave people opportunities to where now they can look down on people who didn't get those same opportunities.
And that's what I was thinking last night. Look, there are kinds of people who Okay, all right. I'll talk with you later. Yeah, well, it's going to come to that. But, the impeachment articles are passed, so now it's going to now it's going to the larger.
What do you
House.
think about the only 2 articles? Do you think that they should have included this other very relevant stuff?
That's so
the
technical.
narrow focus.
You know what?
That they decided to go with.
You know what? I'm satisfied with them impeaching him a shot across the bow. I don't think they're going to get much more out of it than that. Now, I hold forth the possibility that as these remember, there are other investigations
going on
that are live.
Yeah,
other investigations are going on.
Yeah.
All right, information and my thing is, anything could turn up when you're dealing with criminals. When you're dealing with criminality. See, this is why. See, here's the deal, man. Here's my thinking on this. People say, oh, they wanted to impeach him from the beginning. Yeah,
they did.
Yeah, because I thought he would do something to be impeached. That's what criminals do.
Well,
I just thought that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I said this guy's going to get impeached.
Well,
just watch
based on his past, based on
Yeah.
his past behavior.
Yes.
Right?
I felt he had a grave possibility of being impeached just based on things that he had already done.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought his past would catch up with him.
Yeah, I just thought his behavior, his innate behavior was, even if they have been able to indict him for anything ever. This guy,
Nancy Pelosi into this thing, kicking and screaming.
Yeah, because she didn't want to impeach.
She wouldn't impeach.
I am so glad. That's right.
She didn't impeach Bush. She would not impeach Bush.
Yeah,
although public sentiment was to impeach Bush,
sure.
And her party wanted to impeach Bush, and she would not.
I'm glad she stayed the course on that. But this demands it, obviously.
Because the day after.
I mean, the guy called
after the Mueller report.
Yeah, the day after.
The guy, and the arguments are so weak. The arguments against impeaching him, to me, are weak. Other than if you argue process. Well, this is manufactured. This is made up. There's enough corroborating evidence. They say they couldn't find it in the Mueller report. Well, that's not true. Simply because the only reason that the president wasn't indicted was because you couldn't indict a sitting president. Yeah. That's what Robert Mueller said, right?
Yeah. But he didn't say you were innocent. He said, "I can't. We can't indict you. This is a report. It's not a conclusion on what should happen to you.
Right?
It's a report."
And so when this is what they do. This is what they do. They reconstruct history. They say, well, the money never arrived. Well, if you look in Los Angeles Times, I think it is, this morning you'll see, or yesterday, you'll see that the money still hasn't arrived.
All of it.
They got 20 million.
Yeah. They got 84% or something to that effect, something to that number, 84%.
He asked for, he says, and then their rationale changes. He said, well, the place was corrupt. Well, it was corrupt when he okayed the money before.
500 million. He okayed more money.
Yeah,
before.
Okay. Yeah.
But the president changed.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think the part of the reason they didn't add more articles is because, again, they have this time factor. The Democrats are going to have to find out the public sentiment and the fallout before the election, because they're going to have to figure out which direction they're going to go. Because you're playing another team again. It's just like a sport.
It is.
You don't know exactly what they're going to do in enough time to strategically counter whatever move they make. And so they don't have time for it.
I give Trump credit for this. He has the Republican. He's put his imprint on it. He has made it about him and his mob, and that's what it is. And you're with us or you're not. But his
mob.
The mob. I mean, this is what he does. And he says, well, he didn't say this, but as if we don't
know how to interpret
we don't know how to. Yeah, we don't know how to interpret innuendo.
In elementary school, the bully and the bully are both in the principal's office.
Right. So you gonna ask
And so you ask the bully with the bully there.
With the bully.
Well, did he say this? And he looks over there and knows that in 5 minutes he got to walk out in the hall with
the bully.
Yeah, you ain't going
he
home
said,
with him.
"Oh no, he didn't say that."
And that's what bullies used to say. Remember, he ain't going home with you on the school bus.
They would tell you.
Yeah.
That's the way it rolls.
I played a clip last night, and it was some supporters after his rally in Hershey, and they were talking about, if he's impeached, if he's taking my AR is going to talk for me.
Yeah,
and there was other people saying, there'll be war in the streets. And 7 to 8 million people, and this is the innuendo. 7 Americans will be real mad. Real mad. That's that.
Yeah.
It's the same innuendo.
It's the bully all the way down.
All the way down. And he's, and oftentimes we talk about playing a victim.
Yeah.
And we point at people and say, stop playing a victim.
Yeah.
And even the GOP, traditionally within the last 50 years, 60 years, have been telling people, stop playing the victim.
That's our mantra. That's their mantra. They say, we play the victim.
And now they're completely playing the victim. And they're making, and even their constituency is feeling it to the point where they're internalizing it. And they're looking around like, wait, we're a victim. And he's a victim.
And you look at the people who are accusing the president, they're not Democrats. That's what I really love. They're not Democrats. His problems come from Republicans
and the bureaucracy
and the people who his problems come from decent people.
Yeah.
This guy always, for the most part, decent people or criminals like him who've had obviously a change of heart, but they come from the Michael Cohens of this world. They come from in other instances where the Manaforts of this world. And he winds up
and the Sunland.
And then the son was
amazing to me.
The guy gave him $1 million.
Yeah.
Now you're saying he's a never Trumper.
And he's upset that they won't turn his files over to him.
Yeah.
And he said that in his
He had to testify off memory because they wouldn't give him his files.
The guy says,
and he
do this for me.
Everybody was in the loop.
That's what he said.
I was like amazed.
But I don't know him that good. This is the same pattern, and the reverberation that goes down to his fans or to his mob or whatever you want to call it, because there's a difference between somebody who's voting or who likes Trump out of their interest, their true interest. But now I'm starting to see that there are people they're taking on like a personalized issue with what's going on with him. They feel like you're not just doing that to him, you're doing that to me. And that's what people don't realize. I think he gets people to feel like if they're lying on Trump, they're lying on me too. But they're not lying on him.
The problem is that word right there for me, for me, the term liar. Because here's what, when I'm defending this guy, I gotta weigh who I'm defending. I mean, it ain't when I put him up against Vindman, when I put him up against people who have for 30 years not been in the judicial system in any form or other, who have been into war, who've come decorated, who just showed themselves to be persons of character. Fiona Hill, people who are not known to be liberal. I mean, and say, who you gonna believe? This guy or this guy or Donald Trump? This person or Donald Trump? I gotta say, I got more doubt with Donald Trump. Even so, this is what they did to Max Cleland, and I've told that story before. Who was paralyzed and they vilified him down in Georgia, and John Kerry with the Swift boat thing.
The Swift boat veterans from war.
Purple Heart.
The boat veterans from war.
Civil Star, and the guy who wrote that book about Jerome Corsi was caught up in other lies. All right, I almost faded from the scene. But yet there were people who chose
to believe that
John Kerry, the guy who actually went to war, that derailed him, the guy who actually went to war, who was out there to volunteered to go to war, right? And then somebody says, well, he appeared before Congress as a citizen. as a citizen.
And that's what
and
they
he didn't
made
want his middle. He didn't want his middle.
But that's what they made
right.
That's what they made the focal point. They tried to make it as if he didn't love America because he was talking about the actual ills of war. And since he was talking about the ills of war, they put that together. And I remember it was the swift boat veterans from war who came up with the campaign, and they even went and tried to get people who served with him to go against him. And so when we talk about this political triangulation, these are things that happen when we're talking about politics.
That beginning of the obvious undermining of military of our veterans in a large,
the Gold Star veteran. It's it's just amazing. And I'm sitting here tripping because we used to be against the police. But when the president is against the police, it's a whole different thing. We used to think we had issues with the FBI.
Well, and nobody paid any attention.
Nobody
when we're talking about COINTELPRO and all of these operations that they had going.
Fred Hampton. There's a lot of operations, even down, Martin Luther King. There's a lot of operations that have happened. Even Black Identity. They call it Black Identity Terrorist or Black Identity Politics and something of that nature.
Black Identity Politics.
And so what they're doing, and they're investigating people. So if your opinions are considered too black, your Black Identity Politics.
You might can't get on you might be not able to get on a plane.
Well, you're labeled a terrorist. You're labeled a terrorist. And so, but I'll be honest, I do kind of find that funny, and I'm glad you said that, because what Donald Trump is doing and a lot of the things he's saying are things that people were concerned with, the FBI. And so then we do talk about, and we turn around and since a lot of people don't like Trump, then we turn around and sanctify the FBI as if they never did anything wrong.
Is where we get this is where you gotta be careful. You gotta be, and this is what your emotionalism can run away with you, and you wind up banging the or something that you were just vehemently against, and I don't like those kinds of transformations. I recognize everything is not, it doesn't work out.
There's nuance.
Yes, there's nuance.
It ain't black and white.
Right.
It's all kind of shades.
And part of that nuance is he has people in his corner like Steve Bannon who know how to pay attention to that and say, well, they already have a distrust for the FBI. Talk about that. They already don't believe the media. Talk about that. And so again, more triangulation. Oh, they're triangulating to the point to where there's not a centimeter left on the ruler.
Well, look, I try to do this, man. I try. When I'm listening to an argument, I try to get into some merits, and because almost all of them I hear have some merit, even from a loon, you know what I'm saying? I try to have some, and I try not to get overly focused on a personality, because the minute I hang everything on Trump, and homelessness, poverty, death, colds, Super Bowl losses, everything, I lose my credibility, man. I'm concerned about it. I'm not concerned about it. I'm not even concerned about appearances. Concerned about my own mind. About my own mind, man. And when that gets to be shorthand and the answer for everything, but
it's Trump.
And I think in due course we can lay out. What I like is, I like to lay out the things that I know that trouble me, that I know. When he turned against John McCain, I said that. I said that early on when he made the statement that I prefer my veterans live or those who don't get captured. Show them lack of character. Show them lack of empathy, and that has played itself out again on the border and in other places. I look for those things that define character to me, and I find it woefully lacking in this guy. All right, and all I have to do is know that. I don't have to get caught up in, man, look at the way he wears his hair. He's orange skin. That ought to tell you something, Or
with me, even sometimes it comes down to, I was watching the news this morning, and I guess Time gave one of the people of the year to
Greta.
No, yes, to the young activist.
16-year-old girl. Yeah.
And
Greta Thunberg.
and Trump told her, chill out, you should be at the movies or something like that.
Yeah.
And my thing is, I know he's a jerk.
Yeah,
He's insensitive.
He
He's an insensitive jerk. And
she's on the Asperger's
yes, and spectrum.
And that disease, I'm told, that affliction means you have trouble with social skills.
But he's not a person who's adept to even have that type of empathy to understand that or care.
Either right.
He'll do anything to make people.
He made fun of
the reporter.
With cerebral palsy girl who's acting out of well-founded passion.
Yes,
and she's right.
Yeah.
And this is my thing. We get that he's a jerk. I want to know, this is what concerns me. The federal judges that him and McConnell were appointed. And now they're going for judges who are under the federal court because they filled up the vacancies on the federal court.
Okay, I want to put a pin right there.
Okay.
Because that's your point. I want to make it. I want to do this for the audience though, because I just mentioned Asperger's. We just mentioned that Asperger's syndrome. And we talked about the negative aspects of it. I should point out, and we are not pretending to be doctors here, but for the sake of understanding I just gave them half of the definition.
The spectrum.
It's important to say that those people have an amazing ability to focus.
Yeah.
Generally very,
very intelligent, very smart,
very bright people. So let's say that I didn't want him to think he was picking on somebody.
A difficult time being comfortable
with
people. But in some cases they're just brilliant. And Asperger's, I guess, is a form of autism.
And that's why they call it the spectrum now. You know, there are even clubs. They call them Aspies clubs. People with this
they'll go
syndrome.
and they'll meet and that's their social function.
That's their social function because they have a tough time.
Absolutely
socializing.
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
Absolutely. Well, you know, and so my thing is, what he said, he's a jerk. But I'm noticing on TV they're running it over and over. What I saw this morning, and I'm like, we get it. You guys, if you let us know things we need to know. And like I was saying with the federal courts, 170, 180 lower judges that have been appointed. And what I think people don't realize is very few things actually reach the Supreme Court.
That's right.
Very few things.
That's where the differences occur at that level.
Right. And so when we're talking about things that people care about, when you're talking about abortion, different rights for different people, stuff that affects property taxes,
voting rights,
voting rights, all these things, you know where a lot of them go and fight the battle? In the federal courts,
in the district court,
the district court,
even get
to the federal court.
That's right.
But if it gets to the federal courts, that's where a lot of things that we go and a lot of these wedge issues that everybody feels some way about. If they get to the federal court, that's normally where they go to live or die. So he's appointing people, and I think it's like 7 out of 12. Republicans, and so that
and they kept that. That was planned.
That was planned.
Go back to pre-Civil War.
They have the numbers.
Yes,
they have the numbers, and then one thing will get bumped from one court to another, to another court, to another court. Well, if all the courts are in the same favor, the things and these are things we should be talking about. So I get it. You can talk about how he says something insensitive. But let's talk about the things that are going to affect people as well. The tax cuts for decades and the ramifications of what he do. So we could talk about the sensationalism. We get it. We get it. He's bombastic. We get it. Let's talk about the cuts that are going to affect people on a lower level from the tax cuts that's about to expire for everybody.
Except for the
top tier,
right.
These things that bother us.
That 1%, their tax reduction remains in place.
Right.
That's in law.
But everybody else,
working people,
he doesn't care about working people.
Right. Look,
who? Who?
I want to share this with you. You're talking about the federal government. We're talking about the importance of voting. There is, it's occasionally spoken, but underlying what we do in these, as we take sides, you hear people go from a solid point to an emotional point.
Yes.
He's defrauding a university. They talk about what he has done for Black people as if the fraud didn't exist.
Right.
As if we must. Someone said, well, what has he lied about? Well, he lied about, as a matter of fact, don't even ask me. Just go back 2 days, look at the rulings from the courts, who told his children, you guys got the stealing thing going on so bad, you need help. You need remedial help. You got to go learn not to defraud people.
They cannot sit on any nonprofit board.
Yeah, they
They cannot ever for the rest of their lives.
Right. So when we talk about state government, I mean, when we talk about governments, we tend to understand that the federal government became a means of assistance for us, even unwillingly.
Yes.
But that's where we found relief because the states weren't hearing it from us.
Yeah.
And yet when people talk about us, they think the reason Blacks do vote Democratic in the numbers they do is because they like free stuff. All right. So here's something I want to share with you guys. This is about those of you online and listening. You can follow this. His name's Kelvin Wade. I thought it was interesting. He is the author of Morsels, volumes 1 and 2. But here's what he wrote. He read presidential Jeb Bush once in response to how Republicans can woo African-American voters responded, our message is one of hope and aspiration. It isn't one of division and get in line and we'll take care of you with free stuff. See, that's the way we're described. We're described as being in line and we'll get free stuff, right? So he says, this idea that Democrats earn minority votes with free stuff is an article of faith in the Republican Party. In 2012, Newt Gingrich said Blacks should want paychecks and not food stamps. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that? Rick Santorum said he didn't want to give Black people someone else's money and they should earn their own. Well, that's a popular thought today.
Yeah.
That's a popular thought today. And then there was the GOP presidential nominee, Mitt Romney, blaming his defeat on President Barack Obama giving gifts to Blacks.
The Obama phone.
Okay. Now, so
I remember.
See, okay. So evidently, I'm picking up the quote now. So evidently, I'm speaking up the story. So evidently, there's something free that Black folks are getting that no other group is getting. I've been checking my mailbox and looking out for the UPS truck, but I don't seem to be getting this government swag bag. All right. Is it food stamps? According to the Department of Agriculture, 25.7% of food users are Black, while 40.2% are white.
Yes.
So let's cross that off. That's not it. It's not Medicaid either. According to the Henry J. Kaiser Foundation, they know a little something about healthcare.
Objective research.
Yes, they do. And they say 41% of non-elderly Medicaid users are white, and 21% are Black.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is look over in places like West Virginia.
Yeah.
You're all right. I mean,
Kentucky.
think about
they're the majority of the
Tennessee,
population.
Kentucky, all those
Flyover country.
Since the Affordable Care Act went into effect, more than 16.4 million more Americans have health care. One of those people is a friend of his. He said Obamacare was a godsend after an injury and job loss. But this is where the twist comes. He says his friend is a white Republican, so this can't be free stuff. All right. It has to be temporary assistance to needy families, which we commonly call welfare, but the benefits are divided roughly evenly between whites, Blacks, and Hispanics. And the roles have gone down in the past 2 decades. Maybe it's the free Obamacare phone, he writes, for low-income people, but then that wouldn't be right. Isn't this the phone companies supported Lifeline assistance program that was started by the Reagan administration and expanded to cover cell phones under the Bush administration? So where's the free stuff? There are 2 obstacles to Republicans wooing Blacks. On NBC's Meet the Press, Republican Colin Powell said, I'm not calling the party racist. I'm calling the party racist. He said, the Republican Party is 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 racist. He said, the Republican Par There's some in the party who practice a veil of intolerance that is not good for the party and is not consistent with American values. It said there is a dark vein, thing. It's a federal court struck down. Number two is that blacks trust the federal government more than state governments, and Republicans believe the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Blacks have a history of states curtailing their rights, blocking their advancement, and failing to protect them.
Okay.
We're looking at this with the Voting Rights Act, and federal troops enforced it. Federal civil rights legislation passed to ensure blacks' American citizenship birthright. A states' rights, weak federal government platform is a tough sell to a people with a horrendous history under states' rights. Or you can keep, he says, Republicans must understand that, or they can keep deluding themselves that it's free stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I often say that I don't think that when people equate things to being just strictly black problems or strictly things that are just, taken advantage of by black people, I kind of laugh.
Yeah.
And even when you look at the numbers by population, I say, well, so
Yeah.
how so? And that is just something that is given to us as a depiction of what people are. And the GOP, they take that and they run with it. You pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Every mantra that they have when it comes down to this social economical issue, there's really no empathy. They're even they're changing welfare right now as we speak.
And it's going to impact white America more than it impacts us.
You know what, Doc? I got a secret for white America. You know what the secret is?
What is it?
They don't care about you if you poor and white either. So if you really, really think that they do, you got something else coming, Jack. But you can go ahead, believe what you want. But these things, these cuts and things that are going to trickle down to people with less money. If you're on a less money spectrum, your color is not going to save you.
Not going to save you, and they have more in common with us than with Trump, than with Rush Limbaugh. But they vote against their issue. They vote against themselves all the time. And if you listen to Republicans, they are deliberately kept ignorant because they hear what they're saying about us, but they have a filter that prevents them from seeing that also applies to them and often in greater.
Well, they have to have a boogeyman so they can rob everybody.
Okay, let's go. Well, when I come back, we're going to the phones. We are 1230 KCOH Radio. Good morning, everybody.
Large numbers of kids that are just not academically competitive. So I'm running to try to. It's really not about one school board race, or even one election. This is about our entire community getting behind HISD and making sure that we can improve the system together. I believe that excellence is possible for all kids without exception. My name is Matt Barnes, and I'm running for the HISD District 4 seat.
Paid for by the Matt Barnes campaign. Here's a special announcement from the all-new Millionaire Floor and Carpet Care. This holiday season, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $119, plus 1 room free. The professionals at the all-new Millionaire Floor and 40 years. Call 832-549-9740. 832-549-9740. Remember, 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119, plus 1 room free. We also clean towel, drops, and upholstery. Make your appointment now and have everything looking and smelling great this holiday season. At the all-new Millionaire Floor and Carpet Care. 832-549-9740. 832-549-9740. Coming soon, we'll be pressure washing homes and driveways. Call today and feel like a million.
This is Fred Horton coming to you from Bayway Cadillac in New Orleans. A part of the Bayway article, wishing you and yours a Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday from the Bayway family. This month, Bayway Cadillac received a 55-inch flat screen TV with the purchase of any new appliance class in Bayway Cadillac. All the way up to a Merry Christmas to you and yours from the Bayway family. Call Lowell today at 936-321-6000. That's 936-321-6000 for your next new phone call from Bayway Cadillac. Good career, bad credit, give Laura a call. Experience with
KCLH?
936-321-6000. They would Cadillac of the witness.
What's happening? What's happening, man? How are you? Hold on. Let me get you in here. You got one ahead of you.
936-657-0223. This holiday season, for every purchase, receive a flat screen TV. Bailey Cadillac is part of the Bailey Order.
Washington and Sons Air Conditioning and Heating, your full-service professionals, reliable and affordable. With over 50 years of experience, you can trust Washington and Sons. Family-owned and operated, Washington and Sons provide quality solutions for your home or commercial property. Call 713.
Yeah, so you started on that Willie Lynch thing, and anything, any and all the things that you get.
So, because I was thinking about the commentary.
Yes.
And how do you want me to shoot to you?
We can serve a Texas sound for over 50 years.
Just come in and read it. I was reading.
I want you to look at it because you got to time it. Because some of
you're talking 2 to 4 minutes.
Yeah. But some you might want to do a shorter version that I use, and the more extended version that I can play through the weeks too, so you can stretch out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, this Willie Lynch piece is going to be published in the Lufkin Daily.
Okay, I love that.
They do a monthly, what they call the North Star. My father, before he left, went over there and said,
Don't have all of the copay for your treatment. No problem.
So,
yeah.
So they started the North Star. That's a supplement, a monthly supplement.
Oh, that's good.
And my cousin, sometimes I write more, but I'm doing the Willie Lynch piece. I got to finish it to get it.
Yeah.
And, I was working on it because I've been dealing with these files and transferring them and going through all these thumb drives. But I said, I got to write this piece.
Yeah,
I can get me stopped and write this piece. So, yeah, I should have it finished today.
Yeah, that's good.
Veteran political strategist Ron Jackson. Ron will discuss local, state, national, and international politics. The show features commentary, guest interviews, and audience involvement. It's the Jackson Political Report this Saturday morning, 10 to 11 on 12:30.
Let's check with Ann. So, I don't know if Ervin
But Bailey Order, wishing you and yours a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from the Bailey family.
And if I'm expecting to call out,
great savings and great service. Services key and expensive. And remember, 55-inch flash screen with your program. And you don't call from Bailey and free order. Call Fred today at 21929-6500 or 281-929-6500.
I have it.
Back credit card and receive a 55-inch flash screen with your program.
My grandson, oh, they changed their program.
Reggie Grant,
Join
me on Saturday.
We're gonna take him over there.
12 as we all the latest computer-related issues. And let's talk about all the computer problems you might have, might be running into. Issues the show will save you money. Make sure you tune in every Saturday from 11 to 12.
Tech Talk with the computer. Reggie Grant every Saturday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon on 12:30.
He performs.
Celebrating the adored woman, a provocative and informative talk show that goes to the heart of women's issues. It's Saturday Talk with Tammy.
Join me, Tammy Brady, from 12 noon to 12:30 p.m., where we'll discuss important issues that affect women today. We'll feature special guests and share information on topics.
All right, you're going to be up next.
In our community.
Hold on.
And we want to hear from you. Let's lift our voices and empower each other.
Innovating and inspiring. Saturday Talk with Tammy. Saturdays, 12 noon on 12.
He's coming on Michael's show. He's coming on Michael's show.
I think so.
Matt Barnes? Yes.
There's only one.
Yeah, a cool guy. And he was talking about education and the the parents' role and furthering the education conversation, whether he wins or loses.
Yes.
And I said, that's great. And we just did a show on education and what parents should do and thought process with parents. And that's a lot of what he talks about.
Yeah.
And so he's going to come on next Thursday and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
He's a living legend.
I know he's been kicking up some dust though. I've heard him. But he seems like a passionate guy.
Yeah. Seems like that. He came to the house, man.
Yeah. And
I talked to him.
Yeah. He said something that was key though. He says he wants to further what he's doing, even if he loses.
See, that's it.
That's you were just talking about character and a person's moral.
He's a teacher.
I think yes.
This Friday afternoon at
But
2 on 12.
Yeah, we had it 12:30 KCOH. All right, let's go to our lines. Good morning. This is the Morning Magazine, and I'm here with Tyrone and DK Obadiah. If that Obadiah come on. If that Obadiah come out, if that gives you any trouble, just call him Obadiah. He understands. Because there is a translation that has a father, father. See. So anyway, he's here with us, and you can find him throughout the community. That's one of the very important things. Okay, guys, let's go to our phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're on. How are you? TM, the trademark for Texas Mike.
Texas Mike. Hey,
What's
Texas
going
Mike.
on, man?
Yeah. Breaking news. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's start with you, Tyrone.
Between 1 and 10, how surprised would I be? I would say about a 2. I wouldn't be very surprised at all. I think a lot of elections come down to style and what people know at the moment and what they feel. I don't actually think a lot of people vote their best interest.
Okay.
I think they vote their best feeling.
Okay, let's go over DK.
I'll go with a 2, and that might be high. I think when you look and you take into account the Electoral College, I was watching a news story 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they were talking about the Electoral College breakdown.
Sure.
And they expect Trump to lose by more popular votes than he did last time,
and still not
that he still
has an electoral
map. Electoral College, yeah, and Maurice, same thing. So everybody's a 2. So okay.
He's a 1.
One, and that's pushing it.
That's a shove.
I mean, come on, that's a shove, man. That might be a -1.
What about you, Texas Mike?
Yeah.
What's your number? We gave you a number, Texas Mike.
Yeah, you gave me a number. Give me a number. Hammer. I got Jackie Gleason. Yeah. All of a sudden, you Jackie Gleason now? Hammer. Come on, Texas.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Thank
you
care,
so
man.
much. Thank you so much. All right. 12:30 KCOH Radio. Caller, you're on with Obadiah and Tyrone. You got Paris here holding down 4. What's happening? Good morning, sir.
Brother.
Good morning, sir. Mm.
Right. Yeah, he picked up a brick.
You got it.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
By the people. Right.
It's just, yeah, it's hard to get around.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah.
His own selfish reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we get it.
We get it.
Nothing. Nothing. When they leave, they don't have ability going into it to even get the job. Betsy DeVos, what was her credibility?
Yeah.
Well, I must say, in defense of Ben Carson, he keeps his brain at his summer home.
The
What's
general
that?
welfare.
Promote the general
welfare.
promote the general welfare. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they weren't speaking of, as you know, they weren't speaking of a program then. They were speaking of the condition, a condition in life. Promote the general welfare. Yeah. Yeah, you will.
Mm-hmm. Internal and external. Yeah.
Foreign and domestic.
You're coming up against 1 minute. I got to give you that much. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Us. Right. Have a great day.
All right, same to you. Great holiday season.
Yeah.
Thank you. 12:30, KCOH, The Source, everybody.
We'll have to get into
Guys?
at a future show the whole concept of people who live in the United States as Americans.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we do a show one day on gentrification?
Yeah,
We can do a show on anything you guys want to.
because gentrification is worse than somebody outside moving into your community. You have incidents
Mm-hmm.
like they want to tear the history down. The people who moved into the area around Howard University, they got upset because people did not want their dogs pooping on that beautiful yard. And one of them said, well, they need to move the university.
And I want to talk about there are some people who say, well, some places need to be gentrified. Or does gentrification always mean displacing the people who live there? Are there different ways to gentrify? Because we look at gentrification and we say, well, everybody's going to be displaced. But you can rebuild without displacing.
Well, that's what we're going to have to get into.
If you choose to.
Because all you have to do is hold the taxes at the level that people who lived there 20 years have always paid. You don't have to take the taxes and simply boom, that makes it.
You see why we need to talk about it, Doc?
And this is what I want to talk about. It is the way we do things.
It's the way we go about it.
The axiom is proving true. The same mindset that created the problem cannot fix the problem. Doesn't say the same person. It's the same mindset. It's the mindset. And as a people, take any group of people, even inside their own culture, there are things that need changing. We all need to take a look at how we view things. Solutions may look differently than we think. So we have to find. We're going to have to be about accommodation without surrender. I think.
And solutions. And I think definitions are important. The definition of gentrification is not what people think in their mind viscerally when you hear gentrification. The definition of gentrification is the process of renovating or improving a house or district so that it conforms to middle class taste.
All right. That's going to do it for us today. It's Friday. We've got a full morning of programming ahead for you. Michael Lawrence Harris is next, everybody. Success.